Hello world, WaveTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So I was out on a huge mining stint. As you can tell, I drained a bit of my lap pack and got a few handy heads to prove it. And I basically went for quite a few ores. Got some gold, some ferrous ore, but one of the main things I got, as you can see, it's currently being processed in the well, grinder down there is a bunch of rubies. So we have a bunch of ruby dust and some rubies that we're going to process later in some form to get the chrome that we will need. This will be mainly for our matter fabricator, and if we check, we have a whole swath of copper, 9 stacks plus. Now, I don't think much of the remainder is going to really need some other processes. This coal ore, I think I might shove in as well, seeing as when you put it in this grinder, it does turn into a bit of thorium, a quarter of a thorium per, so that may be worth it. But there's some other things that I've also managed to do in between episodes. If we look down here, we have a much better area for us to build. Now, I'm currently debating how I'm going to do this. This is probably going to be our really advanced machine center for industrial craft. Let's get a bit of that in and just refuel that stuff, even though, wait a second, I emptied that on purpose, dagnabbit. Anyway, so we're going to have a nice advanced machine center. Probably put MFSUs lining this wall. Now that we have, I mean, look at all this redstone. Look at it. It's just marvelous. Wow. I'm just going crazy. So MFSUs, and then we'll go for more power generation using this fuel. Maybe we can go into B stuff eventually. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we have quite a bit of ore here. Quite a bit indeed, and we're going to want to focus on turning this stuff into more useful stuff. Eventually that will be the case, but currently we're going to need to sort this into a much better system because as you can see, our simple chests are getting filled up, and by the time we do anything else that'll be useful, it'll be too full. Being too full is not a good thing at all. So these energy cells are so full, I doubt we're going to use them quickly at all. But anyway, so let's get rid of all of this stuff. I don't think I'm likely to use the sticks at all. And we'll take that out for now. Maybe you can put another project table for some other iron amenities. But let's just quickly first get our wrath furnace again. Dang, I can't believe I forgot to reconstruct that bloody device. Not bloody since it doesn't require blood sacrifices, though I think Greg may be going towards blood sacrifices soon. No, I don't know. I am jesting. He is going for other things, such as using 5 nether stars around a furnace to get your very first macerator. So, let's set up our wrath furnace. And bam! We got our fire! And spooky noises, because that's usually how it goes. Okay, so there's our torch. We might as well pick that up so that we can replace it so all the baddies don't attack us. Okay, light levels are good. Let's work our way up here. So there are a few things that we're going to need to do. We have to have a regular barrel sorting system and then having it tie into a non-barrel sorting system. So that's going to be interesting to set up for sure. I'm not too sure if anyone's done this before. So I think we'll see how it goes. So we're going to need a few, I think, let's see. Not those, derp. Can you please stop being derpy? Okay, so 2 ender pearls should be enough for our wrath furnaciness. One of them needs to be an eye of ender. And we also need an egg. Stop growling at me. No, that is not my stomach. That is just some zombies being really annoying. So let's see. Iron block. Let's hope we don't lose this one because that would kind of suck. So here we go, just in case. Bah. Let me make another one. Okay, I've elected to make a block breaker. So if we place it right here and put a nice little lever, this should work a bit better. Not as automatic as it could be, but considering the alternatives, I think this is working out quite marvelously. Now we're going to need a bit more dark iron and some other small little bits to upgrade this thing later on, but that's going to definitely come at a, well, later point. So let's uncraft this, and perhaps we can get rid of all the stuff that we're not using at the present time, since currently it is a bit difficult to get everything at a nice lovely pace. So let's see, this, why not? How about this? Okay, so now that that's there, we can start making our nice little router. First we have that, and then I believe there was an egg or two that we have over here. So here we go. Egg it up with an ender pearl, ender eye, ender eye, and we have our router. So here we go. What did you pick up? Oh, hello. Nice to see you there. Oh, you're too kind, too kind, too kind. So let's first place our router here, and unfortunately we won't be able to set up everything so that it'll be perfect right away. So this is going to take some magical... Did I... Yeah. Whatever, I'm not using that solar panel anyway. So, we have to figure out, what did you just take? If it was rubies, I approve. If not, you suck. Okay, so we have a few things that we're going to need to work on. So first of all, the router needs to go here. This will jam up our system though, unfortunately. So router goes there. We're going to want to go with, doesn't really matter, into the top sides. That'll be good. And we'll have to have these taken out of the equation. So honestly, the color won't matter once the barrels are in place. And if we have barrels there, or barrels here and here, that will work out well. I think so, at least. Let's get these out of the way, since the covers aren't necessary anymore. We'll have like an adjoining barrel, or a barrel here, so that we'll have two separate barrel systems. Not really systems, I don't suppose. At least different segments of the entire cacophony of horribleness. So this should be enough for our barrels. Definitely. And then if we place this here, we'll have a bunch of barrels. 16. One of them will be the buffer for cobblestone. I doubt we're going to have any cobblestone in the system, so we should be good. Should be good entirely. So one here and one here. Cobblestone. Oh. Dagnabbit. And I don't want that either. I want to have this here. So what's in there? There we go. And there's copper ore in here. Stop being difficult. Okay, so let's put these right here so that we can at least get some stuff into there instead. It'll take a while for it to sort out, though, as you see, it's going to need a few upgrades to get everything sorted because, frankly, having two places for copper ore is not good. Oh, that might help also. So we're also going to need another bit to the system. We will need to have a restriction tube because those are stuff that can be processed. So there we go. So anything that can be processed will go to its desired location because we don't want ores in our system, because that would just suck. entirely. And it's a good thing that they're connected to the chest as well, so that we'll have some stuff at least go into there, but it'll be okay eventually. Once we get everything sorted out, let's just put those ores back in there. It doesn't really matter. We'll move those high valuable chests into their own separate barrels once we get everything else at a good place. So one more here and one more here. Okay, so now we need to get two more upgrades. We need thoroughness and bandwidth. Bandwidth so that it's not as freakishly slow as it currently is. And thoroughness because we need to be really thorough. Thoroughness actually allows the system to find in it whether it actually has the item there or not ahead of time. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. There we go. There we go. Now that we're happy, let's move on. So we have two separate upgrades that we need. Thoroughness, which is here. That'll require 5 soul sand. I think I have 5 soul sand in the chest that's over there. And I believe the other one, which is bandwidth. Okay, it requires our lone egg as well as 4 blaze powder. I have 16 blaze powder left over, so I can use that. That'll be good. And so, let's get this. And we still have some other stuff downstairs. So we can, sorry, over there, or no, I mean downstairs over there, though it isn't really stairs. I can't really say it's stairs because frankly it's not stairs. Did I mention it's not stairs? I think they're not stairs. Okay, now that we determined that they are not stairs, let's move onwards to something that's not as stairy. Stare on, my friends, stare on. So last egg, blaze, powder, and finally our last little bit of knowledge, which is, you know what would be nice? Remembering that we need dark iron into this thing. Okay, so bandwidth and thoroughness in no particular order. Throw this and this, and we're good. Okay, so that's good. You got aluminum there for some reason. Curse you, aluminum. And let's get the duplicates out of the way, and we'll see how it determines where stuff needs to go. So now we need to probably temporarily move whatever's in this chest over here. That will probably be the best, and maybe whatever is in this chest over there as well. I'm thinking the valuables, the process valuables will go on this wall. You're both coal. How cold of you. Okay, so processed valuables will go on this side. I am thinking would be the best. And the non-processed, or, well, the other stuff will go left. That's probably the best way to have things. So here we go. We'll have to remove this stuff. Can I? Perhaps. If I throw this in here, that's obviously already done. And if we have some sort of order, let's have lead there. Silver. Do we have any silver here? Yes, we do. Silver there. Iron on the left up here. Gold we'll want here. Tin here, since copper and tin go really well together. Quartz. Quartz. What else would we have here? We seem to have a bit more iron than usual. Okay, so what the heck is happening? We have thoroughness. At least I think we do. Let's check. Always finish servicing machines. Though it doesn't seem we're actually doing like it's asking, because I see 2 bits of iron. Unless I put both of those sets of iron in there, which would just be a stupid case. No, I thought I had gold there. Ah, thank you. And now for some reason we got iron ore. Okay, so it appears that there seems to be some funny business happening. I don't know why that is. Maybe because it's seeing it as two separate networks. Therefore, when it's looking over here, it sees one thing. When it's looking over here, it's seeing another thing entirely. Which could, I suppose, be the case, or the thoroughness upgrade just sucks, and we should forget it even existed. Either way, we are going to have to think of a solution eventually for this. So the ores I'm going to throw back into the system. In fact, I'm just going to have some fun with it and throw them into the industrial grinders since, hey, why not? Then again, that may complicate the system with having too many tiny dusts. Therefore, let's just throw it into here. I doubt we can really do anything if we throw aluminum over there, so I'm not going to bother. And then we are going to need to get that stuff going. Okay, so let me go grab a few other things and move the chest contents over, then I think we'll be good. How is ore still getting in here? I don't understand that part. Maybe is it seeing... And dusts. Why is dust getting in here? There should be no reason at all why the dusts are deciding to go up and up instead of going straight through. Maybe there's some sort of glitch with the routers interacting with the tubes as an item? No, we'd have to see what color that the tin dust, I think it is. Is it tin dust that's the problem? Let's throw that in and see where those ores go. Okay, I saw that. Didn't you see that? I saw that. So that means we should color this as blue. So it doesn't matter what happens, it won't go in there. That should alleviate that issue of having ores go in the system at least. So where is our blue? Blue or pink? We should have blue or pink somewhere very close. There we go. We got pink. And should we put it as pink or blue? I guess we can change all of them to pink. Whereas pink have the default. There we go. And then paint that. So only pink stuff should be able to manage to get its way into there. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Let's just throw that in there. I can't be bothered. Okay, so we can get the aluminum ore out of here and see what we have here. A lot of stuff. So copper back out. And it seems like I did a test. I did this in a test world. That's the thing. Wait, unless this is quartz dust. Yes, that's quartz dust. So I shouldn't be as worried. And it seems that the thoroughness... I did this in a test world, and it seemed to work then. I guess... And the only solution I remember way back when was that I needed to have it so that I only had the correct number of stuff in here. So we're going to have to be a little beady and just throw everything in. Now, can these stack? Yes, they can. And we'll have the drones here. And for old time's sake, we'll have the coal here. That will be good. Coal there. So we still have that. We have the zirconium junk that we'll need to probably sort over. This stuff I'll have here. The quartz dust will thus be here. I'll get this sorted so that we can actually work on what we're meaning to work on afterwards. Okay, here comes the fun part. At least I think so. So all of the items should supposedly be going to the correct areas in the system. So what I'm thinking is once we put this buffer down, there are two possible things that will happen when we place this buffer down right here. One of them is that it'll be filled with stuff that is in the system, in which case it'll be a bit of a problem. Option 2, it'll only be filled with stuff that cannot fit in this system. I'm hoping it's option 2. It might be option 1, but if it's option 2, we can proceed. So we'll have to give it a bit of time, and we see that it's aluminum ore. which we have right here. Well, dag nabbit. Doesn't look like what I was thinking of would be possible at all, considering that it's still shoving useless junk into the buffer. I was thinking of having the barrels have all of the stuff and all the useless stuff gets shoved over there, but since this thing is stupid, for instance, I'm sure that if I put on the machine filter upgrade and put on uh, barrels, it'll only work with barrels and won't shove all the useless junk out over that way. So that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks indeed. Doesn't exactly leave much room for improvement. So I don't know. Is it worth having this huge barrel room? Well, I suppose we can keep this barrel room, though there is still a lot of thought that will need to be brought into it. I don't know, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it for a bit because there's no point if the buffer gets filled with stuff that's supposed to be here. It will then get jammed, the sorting machine that is, get jammed out over into the Merry Blue Yonder. I think I'm gonna hop into a test world, check if the machine filter works how I want it to. If it doesn't, I guess we might have to go for a pure barrel room. Do a barrel roll. Hiya! Well, I see that there are a few things that we can do. Well, one of them is to keep our current arrangement, which I don't really see as that special, honestly. It's not too special of a system. Now, what we could also do is rip apart this system, instead go for some other layered look, though the layered may not look quite how I want it, or go with some other device system such as tubes going at the top. Once again, done before, but then having another auxiliary tube bringing the stuff to another location. That being said, sorting systems nowadays aren't really that special, so maybe I should just, not think too heavily on it and just go with what I have right now. We got some sulfur here. I think there's some sulfur that we can throw back into here, but pretty much we can add on to stuff in the future. So I'm going to put that sorting machine away for now, since it doesn't look like there's any point in trying to continue with that sorting marathon or whatever the hell you want to call it. But let's see. So we got our Zygorium over there. We have at least a much better than voiding it all, because eventually it may become a bit more useful, even a bit more useful than it currently is. We got a bunch of rubies, and we have all of our Thaumcraft stuff, as well as a few specialty ingots dotted here and there, and pretty much everywhere. And we also have our ruby dust, which we are going to need to centrifuge. Now, ruby dust, I'm going to check if we're able to use our electrolyzer. If we can, we won't need to make our centrifuge, though. Okay, it does look like we can use the electrolyzer. Now, adding that tin can cell rather requirement, I don't know how much I like that. Well, the industrial electrolyzer, max energy 50 EU per tick, so it's not as energy hungry as the other processes. So that is something that we can be at least semi-thankful for. Okay, so it's 7 per 63, I do believe. No, let's see, 7. We go with 49 is for 7 of it. No, that's if we do 7. Dag nabbit. 54, 63 is for 7. That means we need to have a few more. So 1, 2, 3. If I am going to hedge my bets, it's actually 8 extra that we'll need for all of the pieces that we will require. So if we throw this into here, I suppose we'll be okay. Or we can just put that into there. So I'm just going to take this out temporarily. well, as temporarily as you want it to be, and I'll throw the empty cells into here for now. We'll start that centrifuge process. We have more than enough energy to not worry about it, and we'll throw these rubies in, and we'll have all of our extra amenities that we will need. Now, I believe, no, we don't seem to have any extra cells, so we may need to create a few extras so as not to have... Ah, yes, I used all of my extra cells already. I used them into my industrial electrolyzer, which in fact we might need to make another industrial electrolyzer for all those specialty stuff. Say we have mercury cells, which we're going to need to, well, want to need to make, and etc. So let's get a stack of tin at any rate so that we can make a stack of tin cells. These tin cells will recycle in other uses, mainly using it with our industrial electrolyzer, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a pain in the arse. So while that's cooking up, we have some other things that we can work on, which is our main energy attribution center? No, can't really call it that. So I'm going to do a few tests with transformers to verify a theory that I'm having with them, and then I'll be right back once I develop that theory into a bit more of a practical solution. Okay, I managed to confirm it, and it is quite an interesting mechanic. So I was talking about transformers and a few of the various uses that I can do with them, and what it seems like one of the things that it is that the main limitation is this. There is a maximum EU packet size, there's a maximum EU input size, and there is finally a maximum EU output amount. So that gets very fun when you go for high density, or rather low density to very high density. So for instance, if you have low voltage, you can put the low voltage in to a high voltage transformer and it will output it as the 248 EU per tick. That is going to be something that we will exploit later. So one of the things that we may want to do is put in a bunch of reinforced iron and see how much we can get out of it. And the main exploit we're going to do with that, well, I don't really like saying that it's an exploit, since I think it may be an intended use of it, since, well, people who are nuts about energy loss will basically not want energy loss. So if we transfer it at 512 EU per tick, there will not be as much energy loss. That being said, I'd love to use glass fibers, because glass fibers, they are very efficient transfer-wise. That being said, they're inefficient in the diamond amount. Well, we could. How many diamond ore did we manage to find on our trip? We managed to find 11 diamond ore. If we check that, unless we get a very good fortune enchantment, the only way we can make real use of it is using the industrial grinder to get a bunch of diamond from it. So we should... we need fortune. We need to have as much fortune as possible. That being said, I'm not too prissy at the 2.5 times amount, because if you look at the glass fiber, like, let's check that again, because there might be a catch. I don't want to grind up my diamonds before figuring out whether I can actually use the diamond dust. I should be able to. Let's see. I'm gonna check as a recipe. You know what? I'll just grind 2 diamond. I'm sure we'll find a use for that 3 diamond dust that will be generated. So I'll grind that up, and then let's see what the diamond dust gives us. Okay, thankfully you are able to make glass fibers out of the dust. I'm not too sure why it's not directly shown in the recipes. There might be some odd technical reason for that, but I'm not exactly a modder, so I wouldn't know. So technically, we're able to get 20 glass fiber cables out of one diamond ore, not counting fortune enchantments. Maybe eventually we'll go for fortune enchantments for a bit more fortunate of an outcome. But other than that, I don't see too much reason to do so. Anyways, so we have some uses for solid diamonds, but we also have many uses for non-solid diamonds. So what I think I'm going to do in lieu of, well, we're going to go mining again anyways eventually, so I don't see too much bother in throwing the stuff in right now. So I'm just going to throw my diamonds and my gold ore into there. So the gold ore we should be able to process in a much more timely fashion. Also, let's process a bit more of our iron reserves into refined iron, and I think 4 should be sufficient. So simple enough. Just throw these into here and they should go into every single space they can. Just completely annihilating the entire thing. Okay, so this seems to be held, so we'll just put a barrel location for our tiny pile of diamond dust, which we'll put into here, or rather, we'll put it there, don't worry. We have a solution to all of the world's problems. I have no clue. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, so we're also going to need to make a bit more circuitry. That's where our refined iron is going to come in. And also where our refined iron is going to come in is about right here. So we'll have to move that in a better location, but that's pretty much why we are expanding this place. Just seeing what needs to be tweaked in this area. We're going to want a much more organized feel eventually, though that will come in its own volition. So let's just grab all of that. And what the heck? Gold dust. Did we... What? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Are we going to have to ore dictionary all this? Are we going to... Yes, we do. Okay, since it's not actually... Sigh. Let's put that in, I guess, since we have no other way. And there's also tiny dust, so we're going to want to get a system for all the tiny dust as well. Let's get that gold dust out of here for now. See what else also transpires about here. And anything else? Let's wait. Other than the nickel dust, no, nothing really extravagant. So let's just grab a bit of refined iron, hoping that it gets filled with the proper thing. Yes, it does. We're good. We're home free. We shouldn't need to worry about the world. Gosh dang you. Okay, so we're going to want to make a bit more. Okay, how many of these? Okay, let's just make 24 of these. It's not like it matters too much. We're also going to want to make some more circuitry, and we have some refined high voltage cabling. I suppose we can throw it into there in the meantime, and we can get this stuff up. So 6 of these, refined iron here, and we'll go with our nice little electrum. We'll make 12 more circuits. I think 12 should be sufficient for our liking, and we had just enough. Great. Perfect. Superfluous. I don't know. Okay, so let's make, I think, 2 sets of generators. And let's go with this. And that. And there we go. 16 ferni. We'll need to make them into iron ferni. And then wait a second. First, I should double check, because double checking is a nice thing to do. So we gotta go for our diesel generator. Does it require a generator or iron furnace? It requires a generator. Sigh. RE batteries to the rescue, and also a bit of copper. Okay, just a bunch of tin, a bunch of batteries. I'm thinking we're going to want to go with a nice even 16. Yeah, 16 is the maximum we can go for a stack, so that'll be fine. And refined iron, is it? On another thing, though, which will require generator and iron. Wait, what? What? Why is it over here? Why is it over here? I have no idea why it's over there. Stop asking ridiculous questions. So, we're going to need to grab, unfortunately, a little more iron. I suppose the 2 stacks that we have over here will be enough to satiate it. Though, let's see. We will want basically 1 1/4 stacks. That'll be good. So, we got our 16. We'll throw this here, and this will be needing to have 3/4 stacks. And then we'll have some refined iron that will be necessary, along with some electronic circuits, which we won't be able to use all of, unfortunately. Now that I think of it, let's make a few of them. 5. 5 will be enough for now, at least to show. We could have made just 4. Probably just 4 would have been acceptable, perfectly acceptable of a number, but I don't think that quickly, or rather thoroughly enough ahead of time for it to be of much use at all. Anyway, so we're also going to need to have some sort of area where the energy is going to be stored. That much we can get at a later time. Also, some liquiducts, which might prove useful. We have to have our wrench as well, so wrench and etc. are probably in our tool chest, which, what's the point of having these chests if you can't even find the stuff? And what's the point of having a canvas bag if you forget that it's in there? So, let's go down into here, and if we have our energy storage here, that will be good. We'll have a bunch of MFSUs. I think MFSUs will probably be the best. Now, for maximum space, we'll say have diesel generators here. That'll be good. And energy going out like so. And since there's hardly any loss in there, we won't have to worry too much about anything like that. So we'll want to have all of the stuff coming from the centralized pumping station. 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to need a few more of these, but you can get the general gist of what we're doing. We won't hook it up directly right away, because that'd just be too useful of a thing to do. So put it in like so. And we're obviously off by 1 and 2. So off by 2 little conduits. That won't be too, sorry, ducts. Quack. And that won't be too bad of a problem in the future. Now we're going to want to orient it in a nice, well, either serviceable or non-serviceable. It doesn't really matter. Maybe we can pipe it in from the top, because if we have, well, you see, the loss on these are pretty negligible. I think it's 1 every 40 blocks. I'm gonna look up those numbers to give us a better indication, and if it's anything exorbitant, we'll use some sort of transformer or some odd buffer. But if it's every 40 blocks, let's say we have a maximum of over here 230. That means we have 242 over here, looking at our Z coordinate on the minimap. So 242, and that means we can go 20 blocks down before any serious losses occur. That's quite a bit. So 20 times 12 is going to be quite a bit, so that's 240. And then times 4 again, that's 960 EU per tick in a tower. I think we can handle that. Whew. So now we are going to need to make some more liquiducts. We'll need some liquiducts going up as well to complete the tower of power, but we'll probably have the energy conduits go like that, and maybe in the ceiling. But these are going to want to join up as well. How are they going to join up? Are they going to join up from the top or the bottom? Because we'll want all the energy to go into one centralized area. Maybe if we had construction foam. I think construction foam might be a good alternative, because eventually there is going to be an update to, it's either Industrial Craft or Greg Tech who's going to be adding it, that allows one to be able to easily put pretty much similar to a facade or a red power micro block cover onto the block itself. Now, I think RegTech and Industrial Craft themselves are working on them independently, but it's going to be something that I'm going to want to read up about in the future. So I'm going to work on a more space efficient design, possibly, but at least 4 in in a group of 9 is space efficient, especially since it can be layered infinitely, and we can also have a nice little corridor with lots and lots of energy. Yay! And we definitely went overboard on this one, so I'm probably going to want to keep a closer eye on how much time we're actually spending on the episodes, because I know many of you do not want to spend 40 minutes a day on it. That being said, you guys can ask me whatever length of video that you want, and if it's reasonable, I'm not doing 2-hour marathons, dag nabbit, I might look into doing it. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.